then there's the tweener guys like Colin Moran. What do you do with the tweener guys when you're building from the bottom? Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. Comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or hockey. I also offer up daily shots of Steelers and Penguins right where you found this. The Pirates lost again yesterday to the Cardinals 7-6 at PNC Park. Swept by St. Louis. They've lost, I don't even know how many in a row at this point. I think it's 8. And all I want to do here, really, for the most part, the rest of the way, is look at stuff that matters. That doesn't mean being positive. It doesn't mean being negative. It means just stuff that matters. When I look at yesterday's game, what matters, in parentheses, maybe, is that Colin Moran homered twice. He put 2 balls into the seats in right center, and I mean he pulverized both of them, and off a lefty, no less. It was impressive. He's actually had, in a weird kind of way, a pretty good year. Never mind that the home run total is only 6. He's missed half the season. He's also batted .285, .796 OPS, and he's 28 years old. That's the number that I hope would resonate more than any other in this conversation. He's 28 years old. He's eminently affordable for the next 3 years. He's not going anywhere. What do you do with someone like that? 3 weeks ago out in San Francisco, when Moran was on his latest run on the injured list, all of which, by the way, have been just terrible luck. It's not a matter of being injury-prone. When you get hit by a pitch and knocked out for several weeks, that's not something you did wrong. That's not a lack of preparation or being brittle. You get hit by a fastball on the thumb, you're out. And I was talking to him, this was behind the batting cage, just a light dialogue about the way his season had gone. And you could tell he was down. You know, he felt it. He felt like, on both ends, he thought this was going to be a really good season for him. He had every reason to think it was going to be a good season for him. He goes out and he produces, and then he just can't stay on the field. And there's no way that you don't beat yourself up in that situation. So from that to the couple of home runs yesterday, I mean, maybe he's not exactly the most excitable guy, I think you know. But you could hear at least a little bit of relief in his voice after the game yesterday.
Yeah, I feel, obviously homers feel good no matter what, but been working hard on trying to stay in there and, drive the ball against them. And got a good couple pitches to hit and put the barrel on it. So, yeah, I mean, we're working hard on trying to improve against lefties, so it feels good when you get some results.
So what do you do with him? What do you do with him? That's the question. He doesn't need to go anywhere. He doesn't need to be moved. And if you look at his numbers, when he's out there, he's actually a major league average first baseman. He's turned himself, incidentally, into a pretty decent defender over there. He's not ever going to have much range, but he makes the plays that come his way, including picking his infielders' throws. He's grown a lot. He's grown a lot since he's come to Pittsburgh. And I'm not so sure that he wouldn't fit into that Jacob Stallings category where you say, hey, maybe he can be one of the guys who hangs around. Part of what brings this to mind is that John Mayo of MLB Pipeline put together one of those fake diamond lists of what a team is going to look like in the future. And his 2023 Pirates had Mason Martin at first base. Now, Mason Martin, for anybody who doesn't know, is hitting a zillion home runs in Altoona. He also strikes out a ton. There's not a lot of completeness to his game, but there are people that are very excited about the power that he's got. And because he's playing first base, it seems like he would profile naturally for a promotion within this group. But betting on a double-A prospect is always a risky proposition. And there really aren't other first base men in the system, certainly not close. And Moran is one of those guys that is kind of nice to have. He's extremely businesslike. The seriousness that I was describing earlier, that applies to how he approaches his day. And there's a lot of respect for him in that clubhouse, from the manager, from the coaching staff. And he's always been kind of immune, if you will, to the team's up and downs. He just performs. He's very, very consistent. You don't see a lot of slumps. You don't see a lot of streaks. He just produces what he produces. And I'm kind of okay with making sure that you have someone like that. If you think about where the Pirates' most intriguing prospects are, you're talking about second base, shortstop, meaning the ones that aren't here yet. You're talking about, corner outfield. You're not talking about catcher and first base. And I really, really wouldn't mind finding a way to, at least entertaining the possibility of keeping Moran around. I'm not talking about an extension or anything like that. I'm just saying that you don't need to move everybody. And I think he can be a nice piece for you to have as you kind of bridge your way into contending, and then who knows what happens beyond that, because the other thing about Moran is that he can play multiple positions, so there's that as well. When we come back, just one question. It's time for Just One Question. That's always brought to you on this program by our friends at North Shore Tavern, directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, home of Steak on a Stone, home of multiple televisions all over the place, tuned into baseball, including when the Pirates are on the road. You can come down and watch the game with fellow fans. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park. Today's question comes from George, who says, DK, what happens first? A, the primary term for the Pirates' lease at PNC Park expires in 2030. B, Bob Nutting sells the team. C, all of the above. D, none of the above. I sure hope it gets noticed by regular listeners of this program that for as much as I can't stand topics like this, I still take them, because this portion of the program is your portion. You decide what's in it. You decide what the subject matter is. So whatever's the most representative is what I'm going to end up selecting. So I will absolutely take this, because it does come up. It does. It's like becoming gradually the next great boogeyman in the Pirates narrative, and that is that this guy is gonna bolt town or something. Let me start with this, and emphatically underscored, all capital letters. The Pirates aren't leaving Pittsburgh, like ever. Every single box that's ever needed to be checked regarding the viability of this franchise in this city has been checked emphatically. Everyone in baseball saw what happened in 2013 when the Pirates finally had a good team. Everyone saw the blackout game. Everyone saw how the city responded through all three of those playoff years. Everyone saw that the city and the venue have no issues when a team does get moved, it's almost always the result of a facility problem. And even then, my goodness, look where the Tampa Bay Rays are playing. Look where the Oakland A's have been and have been trying to get out or beg their way out or beg for a new facility, and they still haven't moved. It's not going to happen. This needs to be erased from the equation of Pirates talk at every level. So my answer to your four-way multiple choice question there is D, none of the above. I don't believe that Nutting is going to sell the team, if only because there's hardly ever been any indication that he will, and in fact, he has made quite clear that he'd prefer to keep the team in the family, meaning to pass it along to his daughters someday. So that's what it is. That's where it is. But this idea that the Pirates could be moved, wow, no. In addition to everything else I just mentioned, remember that you're talking about one of the oldest, most venerable franchises in the history of professional sports worldwide. I don't think that gets enough recognition, even in our own town. Pirates are older than the Yankees. The Yankees were a relocated franchise from Baltimore. We're talking about the Pirates, the Reds, and not much else when we're into this kind of territory. There is a 0.00000% chance that the Pirates will ever not play in Pittsburgh. Let's get that one totally off the plate. I appreciate the question, though. I do. I really do, because if I don't get questions like this, I don't have an opportunity to, address them in the direct way that you'd want to hear it. And that's what I'm giving you here. We'll have another Daily Shot of Pirates on Monday.